Breakfast on the beach, HA. Hello, Sandy with you this morning. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Finke Desert Race. A man who has spent a lot of time within that 50 years is President Anthony Yoffa. Anthony's been a very successful and, I guess, accessible individual for the position that he holds and has held for so many years as the president of the Finke Desert Race. And once more, he makes himself available to us here on the radio. So it's with great privilege and honour that I get to introduce him one more time, as he no longer lives here in the Northern Territory, but he is no stranger to coming and going from the Territory. He's on the phone right now, and he's been away for a while, but he's also around, and he is none other than El Presidente, and has been holding that mantle for many, many, many moons. How many moons now has that been, Anthony Yoffa, a.k.a. the Yoff? Good morning and welcome to Brekkie on the Beach.
Sandy Beach, how great to speak to you. How many moons?
Yeah.
Well, it started in 2002, so...
Okay.
I'm just about to enter my 25th year.
I know that you and our former mayor and Damien Ryan were very close in cahoots with this. Has he still got a finger in the pie when it comes to Finke?
Look, he's a life member and still a big supporter, not on the committee anymore. And look, I should stress he was on the committee many, many years before I was.
Yeah.
So he's sort of one of the founding fathers. And then I've come along just after the 25th.
You know, many years we've talked about the whole construct of the Finke Desert Race being one of the more unique motorsporting events in Australia, starting off back in the 70s when it did, with a bunch of ragtag characters who just decided they'd get on their dirt bikes and shoot down the track as far as they could get and then come back, and then from there it snowballed into what it has become. Is it still carry the cachet of some of the biggest events that the world sees these days? I mean, it's up there, isn't it? I mean, it's no Baja 1000, and I've seen some of the footage from that. Finke, by any measure, is something of a little bit lesser on the noise scale. But Finke still carries its own clout, right?
Oh, definitely. It'd be the highest profile off-road event, certainly in Australia. It has a following around the world. Over race weekend, our live feed goes out around the world. We have had competitors come from overseas. We've had manufacturers come from overseas to have a look at the event, because it's something different. But the environment is just spectacular. But the difference with this event, as has been the case pretty much since it started, is that anybody can race it. As long as you've qualified and you have the appropriate licence, it's a race for amateurs and professionals. So that's the difference between a lot of the big races overseas and Finke, is that this is a homegrown event that is organically grown, yet still allows, the young fella that's grown up riding at the Alice Springs Motorcycle Club, who wishes to race Finke one day, they'll get the opportunity.
What have you seen as far as some of the biggest changes from when it all began for you back in 2002 to where we are now? And I'm sure there's a few, but what comes to mind is one of the most profound evolutions within the evolution of Finke itself?
Well, there were probably quite a few. One that sticks out to mind was the fact that in the late 90s, the event was almost insolvent, and it was a couple of business people in Alice Springs that put their hand in their pocket to pay the bills to keep the event going. When I joined, along with the rest of the committee, we started to, for example, start early bird entry. We had no cash flow. So we started, you pay a deposit, you get the race number you want, and that gave us some seed funding. We didn't have a website when I first joined the committee, because that was just the genesis of the web back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was a very early start of the information superhighway and the World Wide Web. So, yeah, there would, webmasters and web creation and stuff was very much still in its infancy. How did you get the word out? Did the word get out because of simply the kudos that it carried, or was it just word of mouth? I mean, was it a CAMS event even back then?
Not the car section, it ran on a CAM permit, but it wasn't part of the national series.
Right.
Neil Aitken was he devised the original website, and he's still involved with it over all these years. Going back to 2003, we had made the decision that our event had stalled, if you like.
Okay.
It had 75% of local competitors, and the growth wasn't there. We needed to take it to a broader market.
How'd you do that?
Well, we went to the Melbourne Motorcycle Expo in 2003 and 4. We took Rick Hall's race-winning bike. Mm-hmm. We took a couple of wheelie bins full of red sand. We set up a display at the Royal Exhibition Buildings in Melbourne with a whole host of photos, and people could not believe what they were seeing. They thought we coloured the sand. They thought we touched up the photos. But the message started to get out. So we turned the composition of competitors around from 75% locals and 25% interstaters to now 85% come from interstate. With that growth, the other element was the four-wheel section, the cars. We became a round of the Australian Off-Road Championships in 2002, and that just lifted the level and increased the interest. They are the section of the event, if you like, that brings the money. People want to see big, loud, flashy cars because you can't just go out and buy one, you have to build one. They've got that X factor. So they're the ones that the sponsors are keen on and the kids are keen on. Not taking away from motorbikes, but you buy a motorbike, it's been tested by the manufacturer over many years. They get it right and then they mass produce them. These four-wheel machines are just, they're a sight to behold. So they certainly give that added interest, but the bikes make up the numbers. So they do the underwriting, if you like. And together, it just forms, the perfect bond that gives you what you see now.
Now, where are we going to see for the 50th?
Well, look, there's some big changes for this year's event. And first and foremost is we've increased the maximum limit for cars and bikes. For bikes this year, it's 750 up from 650. Yeah. And at the moment, we have 884 that want to enter. So we have a wait list of 134. And in the car section, up from 160, we now have a car limit of 200 with 233 wanting to enter.
So what happens, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, but when it comes to that, that's a fair bit of overflow, so it's no shortage of people putting their hands up. So that also gives us a bit of a buffer in case some fall off the perch along the way. Absolutely.
There will be some that, will get injured between now and the race, which is only 17 weeks away. There'll be those that, have a change of circumstance. They might lose their job for whatever might happen.
Yeah.
So they'll withdraw. Some of the car competitors, the requirements for pre-qualifying in the car section are perhaps more onerous than in the bike section.
Right.
So there'll be some that mayn't qualify in time. And there'll be some that probably won't have their car ready. So, look, I would anticipate that we would have less than 200 cars, but I would expect that we would have very close to 750 bikes, which would be very exciting.
I guess you could call it almost, but not quite, Australia's version of our own, of the America's Baja, but a little bit more toned down. But any thoughts in closing this conversation off today, Yoff?
Bathurst of the bush is what it's often referred to. Look, I just want to make mention of the original 1976 competitors, of which there were 60.
Yep.
The original bike riders. We've managed to track down 30 of them, and we're still trying to nut out a few more. But we've got at least 7 of them that were coming back to attend this year, so they'll be very special guests at the event.
Excellent. So it's a very big event this year, the 50th. How's the nuts and bolts, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, ticking the boxes, ostensibly the organisation of the event coming along with everyone? Have we got all of our ducks lined up, Yoff?
But look, organisation is coming along well. We have done a lot last year, including opening entries in November, which is something we've never done before, which has given us time to do all the extra work we need to do this year. There's lots of work to do around managing spectators, so we'll have more to say in the coming weeks, and perhaps nearer the event I can come on with you again and talk about some of the spectator safety issues.
Yeah, we won't get into that right now. We've got plenty of time for that to become a matter of conversation, but we won't keep things too serious right now. It's been great to have a light-hearted chat with you on the matter of which, and so good to have you back in this part of the world again. So I'm really looking forward to you coming in. Yes, there will be a location here across the desk from me, a hot coffee waiting for you. We'll have a good chin wag. By the way, how far away do you think that is? Another few weeks away?
I'll be in Alice from mid-April.
Yeah.
There's a power of work to do down the track, so any time from then on, mate, I'd love to come in. I might bring the coffee. I know what the coffee's like.
No, there's been a big change in that, mate. I'm getting ready for retirement, and it's called Beachy's Barista. Doing pretty good. You'll be pretty impressed of a smile on your dial. I can guarantee you that. I'll be very surprised if you don't think it's right up there. I think it's the only way I stay awake these days. But it's been great to have you here as always. Nothing changes after all this time. It's been an absolute pleasure to keep going and growing. And so you can do it whether you're here or do it over there. It doesn't matter. It's a testament to the effort you put in. I'm out of his time in the day to have a chat with us here about Finke. 50th this year on your Tats Finke Desert radio station, 8HA.